Hitting 60 in classic hardcore is a journey filled with dangerous quests and enemies. But what if your fellow players also had a say in your survival? This is the Pacifist Run, reaching max level in hardcore while PvP flagged the whole time. Last time, Stranglethorn questing was wrapped up, followed by a smooth run of Scarlet Monastery, partymates impressed by my PvP moxie. Badlands adventuring saw some friendly faces, while a much different experience was had in Feralas, having my closest call yet with 2 high-level Horde actively hunting me down. Living to tell the tale led to more pal-making across Azeroth, notably in the human rogue Eerie helping take out the Bloodsail captains, and undead mage Freddy Neats, sharing the pirate compound of Lost Rigger Cove. Now level 46, the highest level zones lay ahead, and will surely require a combination of stealth and the kindness of strangers to survive. Approaching the valley that connects Hillsbrad to the Hinterlands, a level 48 troll hunter, 6C or Psi-22, is parked in my path. Waving to them seems to catch their attention as they turn to follow me. Stopping to greet them properly, they target me and process the flag before saying hello. Perhaps taking advantage of their stunned stare, riding off has them react a bit late in pursuit, leaving a decent buffer between us on the road to Airy Peak. They don't end up antagonizing me, so an early spot on the PAL list is theirs. Arriving at the Dwarven Keep, the flight path and some quests are grabbed, tasked to solve a bird napping, take out some oozes, and gather troll necklaces. A previously grabbed quest has us stepping out of town to start collecting fallen owlbeast feathers for an elf back in Darnassus. As if on cue, 3 Horde appear suddenly to scare the jeebies out of my flagged self. Sneaking away, a trio of a 50-some druid, rogue, and priest, Vermilion, Hashashi, and CEO priest, are here doing their own PvP shenanigans. There's a Horde quest to plant a banner of challenge to the Alliance within the town limits here. Placing the banner down automatically enables your PvP flag for 5 minutes, making it a risky quest to complete on hardcore, and I probably don't have to explain why. It seems like CEO Priest didn't want to take the chance, leaving it to his stealthier brethren. Figuring they'll be hightailing it back to their own town, now is the time to traverse the woods, plucking feathers and investigating troll camps for a kidnapped baby griffin. Coming up empty-handed on the bird search, aside from a down-filled backpack, moves are made to the ooze-infested ruins to reduce their numbers. Once slime time is over, the road to the eastern edge of the zone brings me close to the cliffs overlooking the Horde outpost of Reventusk Village. Almost all the Horde traffic from this town will ascend the road up the cliffside to enter the main part of the Hinterlands, so caution is taken to get down undetected. Tortoises make their home along the coast here, including the named Gamarita, whose photo is needed for the book-lending elf from last time. She doesn't appreciate the camera, leading me to be chased off with my creepshot. Outside of the picture, there's also some lost bottles of booze to gather, half buried along the water here. They can be hard to spot, and hopefully the same can be said for me, as several hunters in the high-level 50s farming here make this a stealth mission. There's a decent escape route in the water here if needed, as it'll likely be difficult to keep up with aquatic form. But I'd rather not find out. While recovering the grog, Palace member Ultimates is spotted here. Sorry bud, but going solo seems best for this quest, not wanting any extra attention. Filling a 12-pack for the thirsty gnome back in Booty Bay, Pal 6C is seen here again before spotting a human paladin, Cassandra. Greeting them in stealth seems to mess with them a bit, so wanting to keep a bit of mystery in the world, I sneak away to Hearth. Flown back to Airy Peak, turn-ins are followed by heading out to the Altar Azul to investigate the kidnapping further. There are a couple of level 50 elites at the top of the ziggurat, so care is taken to avoid them while getting the investigation credit. Reporting the findings back to the Griffin Master, a teleport to Moonglade allows a quick hop to Darnassus to turn in the feathers and photograph. The elf honors her offer and trades the pic for her Feralas history book. Making my way back to the Eastern Kingdoms, a visit to Darkshire precedes a trip to the Swamp of Sorrows. Getting there requires a brief run through the narrow valleys of Deadwind Pass, a small level 55+ zone. Though players have little reason to be here in Classic, there are usually some level 60s farming the local ogres. That threat combined with the lack of room to maneuver means it's best not to dawdle. Clearing the pass, a stone-art orc is spotted walking down the road, one of several Horde flag patrols found throughout the swamp. To non-PvP weirdo hardcore players, these mobs are especially scary, as they're one of the few non-static flagged enemies. Horde city guards are easy enough to avoid, but these explorers are scattered everywhere and cover long distances along the roads. One of the more infamous griefers would spend their days following these scouts, hoping some alliance would accidentally get flagged, allowing them to gank. Very cool, very healthy behavior. Searching for a lost essay for a Stormwind mage has us checking the guts of swamp things, obviously the first place to look. As silly as a stack of papers is to find inside a muck monster, the blue bow that drops is equally unexpected. Woohoo. Seems like all the rare items this character finds are destined to be less than useful, as you can see from the track record. Following the clues of Cortello's riddle, the next step is found under a bridge nearby, before heading to seek out the named Lost One, Naboru. Nabbing his cudgel as a trophy, a survey is made of the sunken temple, mired in the lake, at a curious dwarf's request. A couple of level 39 Horde, a rogue Gogoroth and warrior Thunderlord, are seen but are busy taking on the local dragonkin. Leaving them to it, the essay is retrieved, prompting a run to turn in the cudgel. Saying sayonara to the Swampasaras, a 55 orc warrior, AJG, is dodged entering the blasted lands. Netherguard Keep is close by and is reached without issue, turning in a breadcrumb quest and connecting the flight point. Zipping over to BB lets me drop off the pack of beachcombed port to the gnome of discerning tastes before heading back to Stormwind. While about town, a level 9 human priest, Rebellious, whispers me hello, saying they're new to the server. Their guild name is Quebecers, so I reply en français, which they are happy to hear, asking if I'm French. I'm not, but know enough to get by, so they ask for a few silver for training as their guild is quite small and low level. Tossing them a gold, they thank me for the help. Bienvenue au classique hardcore, mon homme. Cruising over to Theramore, marching into the marsh has me meet up with Tabitha, the mysterious witch of the swampy forest. Agreeing to retrieve a necklace of hers from Zul'Farrak, leaving southwest of her hovel brings me to a raptor nest, where the next step of Cortello's riddle is hidden. The geocache note points back to the Hinterlands, but for now sights are set on Feralas to hopefully finish up the zone. Arriving at Feathermoon's stronghold, the history book is delivered, unlocking the final step of the chain on the mainland to charge the Staff of Equinox. My hearth is set here before taking the ferry to shore to start harvesting the water elementals and giants for an enterprising goblin. While collecting elemental cores, zapped giant residue, and wind serpent spirits, a whisper comes in from Cassandra, the paladin from earlier, asking to do Uldaman. Contemplating joining their party for a moment, it turns out to be a moment too long as the group fills before my decision is sent. They give a kind reply, earning them a spot on the palace. Seaside Smackdown finished, the road up the cliffside is taken towards the Rage Scar Yeti hold. There's a couple of Night Elf hunters here, so a secluded section is found to start farming. Approaching the mouth of the cave, a 50 orc warrior Mulfson Gami and his 49 troll priest pal, Zalaurel, walk out, having cleaned out the cavern. Hiding a second to observe, a paladin, Don't Die V, messages asking for a lair. Having buffed them earlier in town to no reaction, it seems that they noticed me after all. Inviting them, they're told that the area is quite busy, but they don't seem to mind. They politely thank me for the lair, and inspire me to do the same as there's now 5 people competing for the mobs here. Grabbing a lair from a random hunter, knocked in, they're jovial about the interaction, earning well their palace spot. Cheers. The new instance of the world proves fruitful as there's much less competition for Yeti hides. The only person around is the level 56 Night Elf warrior Bonkety Bonk, who doesn't seem to acknowledge help or buffs, to start anyhow. They eventually whisper about the Staff of Equinox quest, saying they're headed there next. We team up and start the ride over to the harpy-filled hills that house the required fonts of power. Bonk asks about the PvP flag, and is readily accepting of the silliness of my replies. On the way, the stone giant Rockbiter asks us to find their lost friend Shay. Once in the ruins, Bonk asks me to stay sneaky as we're surrounded by level 50-ish mobs, and they should be able to hard carry solo at level 56. Running and gunning between the braziers, a paladin, Wanadin, is buffed, and a 50 undead mage, Crash, is seen trotting off. Midway through the Ravenwind Rubble, we pick up the Night Elf Shay to return them to their giant protector. She joins us in gathering the last 2 flames needed to charge the staff. Performing the empowerment ritual at the central monolith completes the quest and grants the level 47 ding. With Shay safe back under the watch of her pet rock, big thanks are given to my pal Bonkety Bonk for helping me wrap up Feralas questing at an early level. The last Yeti hides are nabbed before hearthing to Feathermoon, turning everything in. A doctor's appointment in Theramore to train runecloth bandages is followed up with a flight over to Gadgetzan. Nabbing quests in town to evict some ogres, sap-tap elementals, and survey silithids, the usual exit is taken out into the desert sands. Dousing the pond disturbs the buried scarabs, who are dodged with a quick prowl. Stopping in at Marvin Rivetseeker's camp, the collectathon of relics scattered throughout the zone begins en route to Eastmoon Ruins. Scouting around, there's a pair of trolls here, a 50 mage and 46 rogue. They move on after a minute, which lets me start on the kill quest in Solitude. There starts to be a little bit of lag happening, which my guildmates also note. Sketched out by the recent DDOS issues, logging out seems prudent. It turns out to be well worth it as there was another wave of disconnect deaths during the time offline. The attacks seem to be targeting the Streamer Guild Onlyfangs as they make endgame progression, so don't play during their raid times. Got it. Noted for later. The following day, a 54 troll hunter, Fuel, is here, so Eastmoon Ruins are left to them, heading instead to the central Dune Mall compound. Taking down the leader Gormarok in his lair, his ogre cronies are up next. Seeing a level 50 undead rogue, You Got Poked, and 53 Tauren warrior, John, around here doing the same quest, sneaking about and getting quiet kills lets me finish the task undisturbed. The nearby Thistleshrub Valley is the next stop, hoping to prune a laden dugland from the plant people. Assessing the area, You Got Poked from earlier is here briefly, but they gallop off into the dunes. Progress is slow due to the higher levels of these elementals, perhaps taken on too soon. Another undead rogue, Asilium, starts fighting the same mobs, so word of Onyxia dropping brings me back to civilization, for now. Taking the buff to the Badlands, a narrow path just outside of Kargath, the popular Horde town, connects to the Searing Gorge. This zone has tons of quests, several being perfect for my current level. Staying stealthy is the line for transiting the valley, as high-level Horde could easily be running from here to the Blackrock Mountain Instance Hub. The way is clear today though, so questing begins on the eastern edge of the Ashy Crater. Promising to spare a square for a dwarf locked in an outhouse, the key is sought in the dig site below, where another dwarf seeks escort to safety. Botching the first attempt, the second try goes smoothly, until of course the inevitable scripted death. At least this one wasn't my fault. Heading down along the ridge of the mountains, the den of the overgrown thunder lizard, Margold the Rager, waits nestled in the corner of the gorge. This elite smacks pretty hard and is immune to nature spells, which presents a roadblock to my usual rooting tricks. Druid's other strengths prevail, however, and Margol's horn is retrieved, a quest-starting item that leads to getting a copy of the key to Searing Gorgeous main gate, useful for someone looking to avoid the road near Kargath. Looping around to the top of the pit, the neutral outpost of Thorium Point is reached, where a pile of dwarf problems are taken on. Loaded up on objectives, the grinding spree begins as nearly every enemy you can see is tied to a quest somehow. A 57-plus Tauren druid, Viorin TV, is seen nearby, and loading up their assumed Twitch stream, it's confirmed that they didn't seem to notice me, letting the slaughter continue. Spiders are smushed, golems are gouged, and dwarves are decimated in the name of the Thorium Brotherhood. Care is taken to try and fight behind rocks, ridges, and structures to conceal my flag state, sometimes successfully and other times not so much. Attention should perhaps be more focused on the current combat, as carelessness with the golem sees me slapped to 16% health. Recovering some tools along with the outhouse key, Some paranoid fighting is done in the alcove of a watchtower overlooking the gorge, as the road right outside is often trafficked with players heading from Thorium Point to the Blackrock dungeons. A level 56 Orc Warrior core deck gives me a bit of a jump scare when they charge by, but they don't seem to spot me. Sometime later, almost all the quests are finished, only seeing a few level 50-something Horde in the distance here and there. Real pedestrian stuff. Or maybe being flagged so long has made me jaded. Perhaps I am crazy after all. Cuckoo or not, turning everything in back at Thorium Point gets me close to leveling up. After some back and forth between Loch Madan and Ironforge, the horn taken from Margol is verified for a skeptical mountaineer, Pebblebiddy, giving the experience needed for the level 48 ding. Pebblebiddy hands over the key to Searing Gorge, unlocking a horde dodging shortcut, which would be great if it wasn't immediately forgotten about, choosing to run back through the Kargath path. Big brain moves past me. The detour turns into a celebrity sighting as there's a 60-torn hunter, Sunglitters, of the streamer guild Onlyfangs, sitting AFK in the narrow passage. Unfamiliar with her content at the time of recording, I've seen a bit since then and she seems like a hoot. Sunglitter's Twitch.tv stream is open to confirm their absence, using the moment to greet them and pass by. The Onlyfangs guildmaster, Sodapoppin, is heard hyping his raid group about their upcoming foray into Blackwing Lair. We learned earlier that DDOS attacks have been coinciding with their raid progression, so the countdown to both their start and my logout begins in sync. Supplying the mighty Cornholio and then shortly after unlocking his outhouse prison, a teleport to Moonglade is made to train new skills. After a bit of transit, Ratchet is reached, picking up a stone circle for Marvin back in Tanaris. A whisper comes in from a paladin, Bombadillo, asking me to tank Ultiman. I decline and let them know that Onlyfangs is raiding soon, and to be careful of the disconnect potential. They thank me for the heads up. Flown to Gadget, the time has come for the raid to start, so today's play session is over. It again turns out to be a good call, as another attack happens during their raid, resulting in mass DCs and player deaths. A lot of these deaths would eventually be rolled back, but still, happy not to be caught in the crossfire. The stone is dropped off with the Lonely Goblin, obtaining the Sunken Temple follow-up quest. It's doubtful that I'll take on any of the level 50 plus dungeons, as they start to get more deadly with their mechanics. It would be really disappointing to die to PvE content, so it makes sense to skip them for the spirit of the run, spending as much time out in the open world as possible. Riding over to the Silithid-infested Noxious Lair, bug samples are gathered before returning to the thistle shrubs, finally finding a Doogland. The lost tortoise Tuga is wandering nearby, so offering to guide him back to his wife at Steamweedle Port, a small detour is made to also pick up another animal friend en route. Starting the robot chicken escort, our pack travels up the coast, homeward bound style. Playing bodyguard isn't without its perils as burrowed sand scorpions ambush our group. The battle quickly turns hectic with a mess of NPCs interacting, and something in the little bird brain breaks. Since they never engage the scorpions, the flighty fowl decides to take off before the fight ends, splitting up my two compadres. With the chicken marching on and my tortoise returning to the combat start point, a choice must be made to fail one of the quests. Sticking with the mechanical menace avoids a second round with the scorpions, so it is decided. Perhaps Tuga will be rescued at a later date. Sorry to his wife Torda. Once the homing pigeon is sent home, Yeniku's now haunted bramble is returned, giving a follow-up quest in Zul'Farrak. ZF can be scary as well, so likely it'll only be run with a stacked group, if at all. Delivering the Doogland has the local mixologist Sprinkle point us again to the Hinterlands, needing a specific mushroom for the concoction. Convenient as Cortello's scavenger hunt can be finished at the same time. Trekking back to the Hinterlands, a quick dip in Valorwind Lake garners the requested purple fungus. Sneaking down the cliff, there's a 47 undead mage here named Sia at 60. Sure hope I do. Diving into the water, Cortello's final secret is uncovered beneath the waterfall, giving a 14-slot bag. One Hearthboat bird later, Sprinkle and Gadgetzan whips up the catalyst for the Noggenfogger elixir, provided by the mayor. The elixir has a chance to grant Slowfall, a situational gamble, but you never know when you might need it. Traveling south to the bug place, delving into the caverns to retrieve the survey equipment is tense as there's not much room to fight, and the exit is a long way back if needing to escape. The scariest part happens after leaving though, passing a 58+ troll hunter, Alexander GG, in the distance on the way to South Moon Ruins. This area is one of the little farming spots that most of my hardcore characters visit at one point or another. A lot of the ogres are mage types, meaning they generally are quicker and safer to kill, with less parrying and slow casts that can't crit or crush. In addition to dropping a ton of mage weave, there's a chance for a rare ogre, Omgorn the Lost, who can spawn in any of the ogre encampments. Omgorn drops a unique blue mace, the Changuk Smasher, a nice paladin tanking weapon that could sell well or be donated to a guildie. Nearing a level up, a quick search for Tuga for a take 2 proves fruitless, only finding a 48 Tauren warrior, Valcour. Skittering back to Gadget, turning in the recovered gear grants the last bit of experience needed for the level 49 ding. Having teleported to Moonglade, yet another Silithid report is filed in Darnassus, which is like our third one now. Hopefully these guys are taking this bug problem seriously. During a momentary stop-in at Aberdeen, the paladin, Therulf, thanks me for a buff. Hippogriffing to Astronar, the plan is to head towards Felwood and grind some Timbermaw rep in the southern Furbolg village of Deadwood. Becoming at least unfriendly with this faction is necessary to traverse Timbermaw Hold, on the far border of the zone, which accesses Moonglade and Winterspring. There's also some crafting recipes and other quests from them, so generally most players will farm at least a little bit of reputation. Deadwood houses the lowest level mobs that grant rep when killed, including dropping feathers that can be redeemed for even more rep and XP, attracting a ton of players. Having been mostly staying stealthy this episode, the only Horde pal made so far was way back at the start of the video. That is surely about to change though, with an omen riding by in the form of the 60 undead warlock Esterina, upon entering the zone. They don't really seem to notice me, too busy jumping around. Hopefully that attitude continues. Speaking with the Timbermaw liaison Grazel, he tasks me with clearing out some Deadwood Furbolg, and stands to accept any donated feathers. The takedown begins quietly, deeper behind enemy lines, hoping the early mobs provide a buffer to any company. The boss of the Bearmen, Overlord Roar, sits centrally overlooking the rest of the village. Roar has a fear spell and also calls for help when at low health, which can be tricky. He's also the objective of a quest for Horde, so he should bring in a decent amount of traffic. The first customer encountered is the 54 undead rogue, Wait and Bleed. They sap one and pop Blade Flurry to nuke down the others, seeming to have things under control. Knowing Roar is about to call for help, pouncing on the opportunity to make a pal has me start tanking what turns into a 5-pull. Wait and Bleed's plan seems to have been to nuke and run, but seeing me now left holding the mob bag, they return to help clean up the rest of the Furbolg. Finishing the fight, we wave at each other and sit a minute to regen with my new pal. Reflexively entering Shadowmeld to drink, it's good timing as a 60 troll warrior, Mirror, rides up from behind the action. While waiting to see their next move, a 53 troll hunter, Borisy, also appears. Observance reveals that the trolls are here to kill the Deadwood, presumably for reputation, so competition for tags just got worse. Scrounging a few more sneaky kills, Mirror from earlier eventually catches me out in the open. Greeting them, they do a warning emote followed by pointing at me, to which I nod. It can't be said with certainty whether they're warning me not to tag the Furbolg they're saying belong to them, or if they're genuinely warning me that my PvP flag is enabled. They don't act in any threatening way, so while believing their intentions are good, the moment is still seized to say goodbye and slink off. Your mercy is appreciated, pal. Mob availability goes from bad to worse when another pair of trolls, Stab Serbum and Zvex, a 51 rogue and 54 warrior, also join the fray. Picking my battles carefully, a handful more of Deadwood are knocked off, only getting uncomfortably close to Zvex once. Slaughter complete, Grazel is informed before returning to the village to farm more experience and feathers. Approaching a mob in stealth, A 57 undead rogue, coughing, is spotted also eyeing the same target. Deferring to them, an invisible greeting is tossed before moving elsewhere, only bumping into them once later on. When a trio of Horde appear, including a 57 shaman and two 53 hunters, it's taken as a sign to perhaps come back during off-peak hours, so the play session is ended for the night. Logging in, there's a rare Ragepaw wandering the hovels. They drop some green gloves, which end up being an upgrade. Good start. Solo farming ends when a 53 orc warlock, Schnippy, shows up. Waiting to see if they're after Roar, they're messed with a little with stealth emotes before they run off. A hunter then appears, the level 46 Toph Edisher, the level 46 troll Toph Atisher, helping them on a bigger pull. They stare at me a little but don't really react. We share the area for a good while without any trouble though, earning them a spot on the PAL list. He's not the only troll added, as the level 60 hunter Phoenix Rider hops with me as they ride by. There's finally some Alliance representation when the 51 gnome mage, I Love AC, is seen and buffed. They wave in thanks, getting their name on the PAL list. A bit later on, a 55 undead warlock, Ganker Void, arrives and appears to be sizing up Overlord Roar. He's capable of handling it, but a fear does end up pulling a couple of ads, so pouncing in to help, we clean up the combat without issue. They keep giving me weird looks though, which is not unusual, but then go sit off in a corner afterwards. A stream of whispers then comes in from what is assumed to be the Alliance alt of Ganker Void, Ganker Med. Replying unseriously, we banter a bit before an earnest farewell. Seeing them back on their warlock, a flex is thrown their way as a 60 undead priest, Akumala, drops a fort buff on Ganker and his pet, an act of camaraderie earning her a spot on the PAL list. With another level 60 troll mage, Just Me Valley, logging in to farm this spot, a short break is taken, returning to see the 53 orc rogue Mimi killing Roar. A 60 troll warrior, Small Mad, pops in to take him down as well. No help needed there. Grinding continues smoothly, often fighting behind houses to conceal myself when possible. A 48 Tauren hunter, Lucky You, joins the Furbolg fiesta and helping them out with a multi-pull. They don't really react much. Their general disinterest is taken as pacifism, as we spend a good amount of time sharing the spawns. As predicted earlier, this spot really attracts a lot of Horde players. Though hiding from a bunch of them, the ones that have been met so far have been chill, dodging a 60 undead warrior, 60 troll mage, and 55 orc warrior, while buffing a 50 human mage Satin Raven. Raven doesn't react to my greeting, even later when helping them and Lucky You. Bupkis. Really failing to start the PAL party here, gang. A 58 troll priest, Toltrian, comes to do the Roar quest, and Roar calling for help on top of respawns gives me a chance to make a PAL. Even though they're almost 10 levels above me, they're pretty out of mana, so it's an ideal time to get chummy. After bopping the remaining mobs, prowling away a bit quickly keeps our connection ambiguous. A little hop of friendship is spotted as they ride off though, so cool enough. Seeing some Alliance brethren, awkward stares are given by a 52 human paladin, Sigma Pally, after buffing them, probably pondering the flag. They do help me with a mob after, showing their PAL list caliber. Caught out in the open once more, the level 57 undead warlock, Dark Magics, rides up on their Felsteed. They seemingly do a double take before shrugging off any interest and fighting their own mobs. Helping with one and cheering at them elicits no reaction, but they continue on their way, leaving me unthreatened by a new PAL. Sometime later, a guildie, Zalzane, asks for help with the elite ogres in Loch Madan, so a detour to help them take down Choksul is had. Heading there, whoops. Gravity boss almost got me. Don't map and drive, kids. Taking out the ogre boss, Zal thanks me for the help, adding their name to the PAL list. The vacation from the Deadwood village is short-lived, planning to return there after transit to Astronar. Leaving town, Nedian, a 58 Night Elf hunter, becomes a surprise road trip buddy en route to the Cursed Forest. They target me a bit, but don't break the ice, so the silence is enjoyed between buds until we give hops of friendship to say goodbye at the border. Pal Dark Magix is still here upon our return, and we share the space without bumping heads. That is until a handful of level 50-something Horde show up, drying up any farming potential. Patiently waiting, they eventually clear out, and the grind continues in what is believed to be solitude. That notion is dispelled when Vicken, a 56 troll rogue, emerges from stealth. They give me the usual look of disbelief as my mob is finished off. Sitting a minute to chat, they start to clear towards Overlord Roar. Trying to show my readiness to help, they jump in and their Blade Flurry blender renders my contribution mostly unnecessary. Sharing a cheers, Vicken rides off into the pal list. The next hour passes quietly, getting to about 1 bar away from leveling up. Returning to Grazzle, dropping off the 75 bonus feathers gathered gives the experience needed for the level 50 ding. I really never thought I would make it past level 30, but now here we are, only 10 levels away from completing my goal. With that milestone met, it seems like a great spot to cap things off, reviewing the kindness from this episode of the Pacifist Run with our Pacifist MVPs, most valuable pals. The Alliance MVP is going to be Bonkety Bonk, who generously carried me through the ruins of Ravenwind to finish Feralas early. The Horde MVP this episode is going to be, well, I guess I'm calling them the Deadwood Crew, including all the Horde met during the hours in the Furbolg village, namely Mirror sparing me, Wait and Bleed and Vicken thanking me for help with the boss, and Gankervoid swapping to their Alliance ult to warn me of my flag. Shout out to all the MVPs. And a big thanks to everyone for watching. It was really nice to see all the likes and comments on the last video. I read them all and genuinely appreciate all the kind words. Thank you for taking the time to show support and offer advice. We're now higher level than I thought possible, and hitting 60 while flagged is feeling more attainable than ever. I hope you all are enjoying the series so far, and are excited as I am for the next video. Consider subscribing to follow the series as new episodes are released. For now, good luck out there, and stay safe.